Let's return now to the economy because, of course, everyone is looking in detail at those announcements from the Chancellor yesterday, particularly the details of the job support scheme. That, of course, is the scheme that will take over from furlough, which ends at the end of next month. So from the 1st of November, this job support scheme will come into place. Let's discuss that now with Tom Honey, who is the founder of Stoned Pizza in Woolacombe. And I'm also joined by Jane Pendlebury from the Hospitality Professionals Association. Good morning to both of you. Thank you for your time. Tom, let me begin with you. Tell us a bit about your business, how many people you employ, and how you've been coping financially through the last 6 months.
Yeah, I think we have about 40 people that we employ normally, and about 4 sites that we run around Devon. I think the whole situation and everything that's happened and the scale of it is it's so new. There isn't a rule book for how to deal with it. So the measures that have been put in place, they are really helpful, but they are a one-size-fits-all type solution. And so the difficulty for my business and a lot of other businesses in Devon and Cornwall were that we missed those first 3 months of trading at the beginning of the year. It wasn't like it was reduced sales. There were no sales at all. And we only have 6 months to trade in. So those 3 months that we lost are the equivalent of a 6 month of no sales for any normal business. And so whilst we did have a good second half, I think we're all coming into the winter now with much shallower pockets and all thinking, where and when will we next have more sales?
Well, let me ask you this, Tom. The Resolution Foundation is one of the many organisations crunching the numbers after yesterday's announcement. And it says the big question is whether firms will take up the job support scheme given the higher employer contributions that are needed compared to furlough. It points out, for example, that it will cost firms a third more to employ 2 workers half-time than to employ 1 worker full-time. That's based on a wage of £17,000. So the big question for you is, do you think this will allow you, the job support scheme, to keep all the people you currently employ in employment?
Well, I think the thing about that is in Devon and Cornwall, we have a very different way. Our economy is different to the rest of the country. Like I said, we only have 6 months to trade. And so in the rest of the year, we wouldn't really be employing people anyway. And I think that's across the board for, like I said, Devon and Cornwall. All our economy is tourism based. And so we don't have people that we would be employing into the winter anyway. And so I think
you just couldn't, well, you just couldn't afford to, even looking at it theoretically, you just couldn't afford to then because of the specific economy in an area like where you are.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and we wouldn't need to. So that kind of funding and that kind of support isn't tailored to suit our businesses or any businesses in Cornwall and Devon because it's just the wrong type of
the wrong time. Yeah, let me bring in Jane now. Jane Pendlebury from the Hospitality Professionals Association. Jane, very interesting listening to Tom there. Obviously quite specific, his location, because it depends so much on tourism. You've described the help so far as invaluable, but do you think the new measures go far enough?
Sadly not. I think that what's happening now is it's been a really hard week for hospitality with the reduced hours and all of that. And then we were hoping for some support. And this actually, whilst any support is welcome, it really doesn't go far enough. And your point about being able to employ 1 person for the cost of 3, it's better to have 1 person working full time than have 3 people working a third of their time because it's more cost effective for the employer. It's not going to be saving any jobs.
Yeah, well, that was my next question, really. I mean, do you think we are facing a jobs cliff edge then? The Chancellor has said that's what he's trying to avoid. But do you think when people crunch the numbers that however much they might like to hold on to people, they just won't be able to afford to?
Well, quite frankly, those numbers have already been crunched. They were being crunched back in August when we knew that the furlough was coming to an end at the end of October. So most of those redundancy consultancy periods are already well underway, and a lot of the redundancies have already been made. And that's not going to stop.
And Tom, I wonder, you look ahead to a winter season where you normally wouldn't be busy in any case, but, the circumstances are pretty dire this winter, of course. I mean, what are your thoughts about, and the word we've all been looking at is viability, isn't it? That was the word the Chancellor used yesterday, the viability of your business into spring and summer of next year?
Yeah, I think it's a massive struggle and a massive concern for me and lots and lots of other small businesses and a lot of small owner-operator type people, because we don't know when tourists are going to come back down. We have no idea, and it doesn't look like it's going to be. Even if the economy is in a situation, or the virus is in a situation where people can come down, will anybody have any money to travel? I don't know. So I think we are all concerned and just don't know what's going to happen.
OK, well, Tom and Jane, thank you both very much for talking to us today. Tom Honey from Stone Pizza in Woolacombe and Jane Pendlebury from the Hospitality Professionals Association.